everything we do. Our timer, and Zenga has virtual hand raised so we will all can immediately see who is keeping the time.
Everything we do.
It's my
Our time.
Thank you. This is my pleasure to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Shanicia. She's from Guyana and comes with a strong desire to elevate our leadership journey and is truly impressed by the structure and quality of meetings. And please welcome warmly Shanicia.
Thank you, Karine, for that warm welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our Toastmasters and guests present here at our edition of another Leadership Speak meeting. Today, the theme for our meeting is Leading with Emotional Intelligence. Leadership begins with two essential ingredients, that is awareness and intention. Here at Leadership Speak, we believe that great leaders aren't made overnight, nor do they lead by title or authority. Instead, they lead through empathy, connection, and through thoughtful action. And guess what? The heart of it all is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is what allows us to understand our own emotions, to manage our reactions, and to connect meaningfully with others. In leadership, that makes all the difference. When we are able to lead with emotional intelligence, we pause before we react. We respond with clarity, not confusion, and we are able to make decisions based not only on logic, but also on empathy. Emotional intelligence helps us to read the room, to navigate conflict, and to build trust in that process. It does not mean that we are avoiding conflict or tough conversations. It means that we are able to handle them with intention and respect. It doesn't mean that while doing so that we are soft. It means that we are smart about how we allow our emotions to drive our behavior, motivation, and our performance. Here at Leadership Speak, we understand that emotional intelligence is not just a concept, it's a practice. And that is why every meeting is a gym for emotional intelligence. We are able to practice active listening while we listen to each other, not just for the words, but for meaning and emotion. We also give meaningful, mindful feedback, which is focused on growth rather than criticism. And we are able to reflect on how we come across and how we can improve, not just as speakers, but as leaders. These are the real muscles we're building here every time we attend a leadership speak meeting, allowing us to strengthen our awareness, our empathy, and our communication. While I'm inclined to expound further on our theme, we have a special education speaker who will delve deeper into this topic as she has done her research on our meeting theme. At this point, we have some very important persons in our midst, and that is our guest. I would like to extend a special invitation to you and invite our member homes to post the guest book in our chat. I encourage you to fill that guest book out and let us know where you're joining us from, and we would be able to connect with you later on in our meeting. You will notice throughout our meetings that most of our speakers are aligned with our theme, which is leading with emotional intelligence. I now invite Rozy Rana to give a toast to our meeting theme. Rozy believes that excellence is never an accident, and she will be giving her toast all the way from Kenya. Rozy, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Picture this. I race into the office at 8 o'clock. I have a team meeting at 8:30. So I have half an hour, and in that window, I decide to look after and clear out my overflowing inbox. Just as I read the first message, a teammate walks in, chirps in, "Rozy, how are you? Can I have 2 minutes for a quick question before the meeting?" Even as I try and register what he's saying, I say, "Can it wait? I have so much to do before this meeting." Mumbling an apology, he walks away. Fellow Toastmasters, have you reacted in a moment and then regretted it? Perhaps you were the Toastmaster of the day and a speaker dropped out. Or perhaps you've had a row and something is really bothering you, ruminating in your mind, and you can't truly be present. Emotions can be overwhelming. In that moment, my impatience hijacked my ability to lead. You see, leadership is service. But instead of serving my team member, I let my ego take the wheel. I was too
Zerayo,
self-interested in my
come,
own tasks. Fellow
please pass the book up
Toastmasters,
there.
this portrays a lack of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage one's emotions, to respond, to reflect, and not react. It is about leading with empathy, not with ego. Today, I want us to recognize those leaders that lead with emotional intelligence. Because so often, and more often than not, we are judged by the results that we deliver, the KPIs that we achieve. Yet, did you know it is those memorable leaders who lead with emotional intelligence that create connection, that create empathy and trust? And ironically, this psychological safety and trust is what drives higher performance. So let's celebrate leaders who listen before they speak, leaders who are grounded no matter how angry or what the situation is like, leaders who lead with sincerity, kindness, and empathy, because that is about leading with emotional intelligence. I would like to invite every one of you to switch on your videos, to unmute your mics, and join me as we raise our glasses in a toast to leading with emotional intelligence.
Leading to emotional
Leading with
intelligence.
emotional intelligence.
Leading with emotional intelligence.
Leading with emotional intelligence.
Cheers.
Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for that toast, Toastmaster Rozy. At this point, we now move swiftly to our role players who will be assisting me today. I now start with our timer. Zinga, can you please introduce yourself and your role?
Good day, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Nzinga Jas. I am your timer today, and I shall time you according to the agenda. After each session, I will post the timings in the chat box. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Zinga. And now we move on to our grammarian, Nakawi. Can you please tell us what you'll be doing today?
Madam Toastmaster of the day,
fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian for this meeting, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers. Listen carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any improper language use, as well as noting the outstanding words, codes that will be used during the meeting. It is also my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. Today's word of the day is conscious. If you look at the screen, it shows that. It is an adjective which means being aware. Okay, sorry, a bit, my note is falling here. The meaning of the word conscious is being aware of and responding to one's surrounding. Examples: leaders need to be conscious of how they lead themselves and others. Second example, as a leader, I am conscious of my connections with others. As a grammarian, I encourage all speakers to use the word of the day to incorporate it in their speeches. Thank you so much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you to our grammarian Nakawi for introducing herself and her role. Dear guests, now that you've seen how things are done here at Leadership Speak, I want to invite you once again to sign the guest book. Holmes, can you please post our guest book in the chat? Thank you for that. We would love to have the opportunity to chat with you later on. It gives me great joy to introduce our first Leadership Speak education speaker. She is Sabnam Saiyed, and the title of her speech is Leading with Emotional Intelligence. She believes that we should love the life we live and live the life we love. I would like to invite her evaluator, Alfin, to tell us what she will be speaking about today.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the meeting. Our leadership speaker for today will be speaking in a project, level 5, prepare to speak professionally. And the purpose of this project is for Sabnam to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you, Alfin. Presenting from Abu Dhabi, Sabnam, go right ahead.
President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning, good evening from my side of the world. Today, we shall dig deep into one topic that is really close to me, emotional intelligence. Now, I would like for you to remember these two words, respond and react. These two words are generally used as synonyms in most cases, but for me, the difference between these two words is emotional intelligence. Let's move forward. Now, by definition, emotional intelligence is the ability to manage both your own emotions and understand the emotions of people around you. In the year 1990, Peter Salovey and John Mayer coined the term emotional intelligence. Now, later on, it was Daniel Goleman who, in the year 1995, wrote the famous book, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Matters More Than IQ. According to him, emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success? Well, emotional intelligence by its founders is also known as the subset of social intelligence that involves the ability to monitor one's own and others' feelings and emotions, to discriminate among them, and to use information to guide one's thinking and actions, according to Peter Soloway and John D. Mayer. Now, for me, and according to the book, emotional intelligence can be divided in these four aspects or four competencies: self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. It can be further divided in two aspects: personal and social. Self awareness and self management come under personal. Social awareness and relationship management come under social. And the first two awarenesses, as in self awareness and social awareness, are part of you being aware. And self management and relationship management are part of how you manage all these things. Now, being self aware is being aware of your own emotions, what triggers you, what your reaction will be. Should you react or should you respond? Then, when you have those bouts of emotions, how are you able to manage them? How effectively you are able to tap them? If you are in company of others, how are they behaving? How can you be aware of their behavior? And how can you manage their behavior with your emotions? All these are the crux of emotional intelligence. Now, when you talk about leadership, what is leadership? The most simplest of the definition that I found everywhere is leader is the one who leads, meaning the one at the top of your food chain, the one who will be followed by everybody else. So, can we say that a leader is supposed to know about his followers, what his followers are going through, what they are up to, and how they are reacting to different situations? Isn't that important for a leader then? And being when you talk about emotional intelligence, the two parts, that is relationship management and social awareness. As soon as you become aware of these two, you are aware of how to take care of your subordinates. What will happen? The empathy in you will rise. Your listening will become active, and you will be able to move towards growth, which should be a common goal of all. Now, the four main reasons why leaders need high emotional intelligence is for effective communication, conflict resolution, motivation and inspiration, and adaptability. Effective communication. If you have a subordinate or a follower in your team who is not behaving appropriately, but who is very efficient in what he does, what would you do? Replace him? Or will you try to work with him? How can that be achieved? Only through effective communication. Conflict resolution, again. Then motivation and inspiration. A leader is the one who will keep on motivating you to do good, to achieve your goals. But unless and until you are aware of the interpersonal relationships of your staff and what they are going through, how can you do that? You have to know everything. Adaptability. If you are aware of yourself, if you are aware of your surroundings, social awareness, and relationship management, you will be able to adapt better. Then EI is one of the most important leadership skill, and for good reason. Leaders possessing high emotional intelligence tend to be adept at emphasizing building relationships, managing teams effectively, and dealing with workplace stress. They also excel in understanding and responding to their own and others' emotions. which enhances decision making, conflict resolution, and overall psychological well being. Well, when that all these things are taken care of, then not just one person, the entire team is working towards a common goal, success, growth. Now, what effect that will have on your subordinates? Now, when you talk about being emotionally intelligent or working towards becoming emotionally intelligent, there are two aspects of it. And talking strictly in the context of workplace, there are two aspects. One, personal. Second, professional. Self. Now, how can you become emotionally intelligent when you're working towards on yourself? There are two things that we can do: trigger listing and journaling. Journaling. There are two ways of journaling. Writing everything as it is means you get up in the day, you go about your day as it is, take out 10-15 minutes towards the end of the day and write down everything that you went through in the day. The second is using prompts. Now, daily prompts to build EQ, you can pick each of this one at a day, on a day, or you can focus on all. Self-awareness. What emotions did I feel most strongly today? Why? Did I react to anything today in a way I didn't expect? Did it trigger me? Self-regulation. When did I feel out of control today? What helped me calm down? What would I do differently next time in a similar situation? Motivation. What kept motivating you through the day? What inspired me throughout the day? What progress did I make on my goals? How did I feel about it? Empathy. Who around me might have felt misunderstood today? Why did I respond to someone else's emotions today? Social skills. Did I resolve a conflict today? How did it go? How did I show appreciation or support to someone today? Now, when you use these prompts, these 5 prompts, what happens is that you are tapping into the 4 competencies of emotional intelligence. Thereby, you are also becoming self-aware, you are becoming socially aware, you are managing your relationships, and with all these things, your empathy will also increase. When you are able to do this, the next step comes is your trigger listing. Now, 5 main aspects of trigger listing are sensing, naming, attributing, evaluating, and acting. Now, what happens is, for example, in the morning you got up at 10 o'clock. You were supposed to get up at 7. So you're already late for work. 10:15 you need to reach. Your car broke down in the middle. You reached your office late. So everything till that point has gone bad. Your boss is angry at you. You are not able to perform. When you reach back home, again you are angry at your family. Now, what has happened? Will you be able to understand from what the root cause of all these things were? No, unless and until you are able to sense that, okay, something is triggering me, I'm feeling angry. Why am I feeling angry? Name that emotion. And how did it start? You start evaluating yourself. Okay, the problem was that I got up late. It is not the boss. I did not do my time on the right time. Hence, he got angry. Had I done it on time, he would not have gotten angry. My entire day was not good. It is not the mistake of my family. I should not have gotten angry at them. When you start acting and deciding how to cope and use these and deal these emotion feelings, you will be able to tap at the root cause of your anger or from where it all started. Now, this is a very small example of trigger listing that I actually had done when I was studying EI. Like, for example, a child throwing tantrum, you can uh, number it on scales, like what was the intensity, how trigger did you get, expecting what are your reasons for emotional response, what is in control and what is not, and effective meaning making thinking, as in if something is going on, there should be some reason for it happening. Find something good about it, then your anger will also subside. Now, the second part of it, here comes your leadership into account. Whenever you're talking about leadership, it cannot be in isolation. It is a group process. These two aspects, the trigger listing and journaling, you do it on your own. But the 360-degree evaluation has to be done at your workplace. If not workplace, then you can have your relatives at home with whom you are free, who will not judge you. You can have this 360-degree evaluation even with them. Now, sample of 360 survey questions. Each question is typically rated on a Likert scale 1 to 5. Strongly disagree to strongly agree. Now, self-awareness. Again, the competencies come into action here. This person recognizes how their emotions impact their behavior. So the other person who will be a part of your 360-degree evaluation, if you're doing at your home, then your family members. If you're doing at your office or workplace, then your peers, your subordinates, and your leaders, your managers. It has to be a mix of all the three departments, above you, with you, and below you. Then the question comes, this person seeks feedback to improve their self-understanding. Self-regulation. This person remains composed in difficult or stressful situations. This person responds rather than reacts emotionally. This person shows enthusiasm and commitment to work. This person sets high personal standards and pursues them persistently. This person listens attentively and with genuine interest. This person is considerate of others' feelings before acting. Social skills. This person communicates clearly and respectfully across levels. This person builds strong relationships and works well in teams. Now, how it's used? It's used as a developmental tool, helps employees build self awareness and target EQ growth areas. Leadership development, it is used in coaching or training programs to grow future leaders. Performance management, integrated into annual reviews or promotion considerations. Now, case studies. I have two case studies for you today. One is very personal, and one is what I had undergone. Now, at least 10 years ago, there was this one particular situation which I faced personally. My father was not well, he was diagnosed with end stage lung cancer. I had to shift back to India. My communication with my husband had died down because we were fighting. So nobody to communicate. My in-laws were not feeling well. My mother-in-law has suffered a stroke. My children were not adjusting well to the Indian culture at that time. Now what? Everybody was looking at me for answers. I was not able to communicate with everybody. I was extremely vulnerable. Hence, I became volatile. I became extremely angry. I used to get angry at small, small things, and I was not helpful to anybody. A friend of mine who was already doing emotional intelligence at that time suggested you just do journaling, because if I just told her that so many things are going on and I'm not able to talk to anybody. She said, even if you're not able to talk to me, do journaling. She said, write everything down. Don't wait, okay, no, this I will not write or that I will not write. Write each and everything down. And I started doing that. I took a 4-line book of my daughter and I literally wrote everything that I was feeling. And the result was I was able to do the trigger listing also on my own. I was able to tap where the anger was stemming from. And I was able to help others because I was able to help myself emotionally. I was able to raise my EQ, my EI. That is the effect of emotional intelligence. Now, the second case study. There was this one employee on which we had done this 360-degree evaluation. He once was under pressure, too many projects on him. He banged his table hardly and said a word he was not supposed to say. Now, his boss, the leader, what did he do? Did he fire him for this behavior? No. Because he knew his efficiency, he knew what that person could do. The result? He was given 360-degree evaluation for every 3 months to see what improvisation he was doing on himself. Journaling and trigger listing were left to him and he was requested to do them diligently every day. As a result, it has already been, I think, 5 years now. He's still working and progressing in that institution. That is the effect of good leadership tapping into good content and good emotional intelligence, how to be emotionally intelligent leaders. Now, leadership is about empathy. It is about having the ability to relate and connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. By Oprah Winfrey. Let's lead and grow with EI. All the best and over to you.
Thank you to our first leadership education speaker, Sabnam Saiyed. I trust that you were conscious of all of the golden nuggets shared throughout her presentation, and you would have learned as much as I have. I wish to recognize the efforts of Holmes, who has been working overtime to welcome all guests in our chat, as well as sharing our guest book so that we can hear from each guest later on in our meeting. We move swiftly on to our first speaker, Vinod Panicker, who believes that the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I now invite his evaluator, Rozy Rana, to read the objectives of his speech today.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Vinod is delivering a speech from the Presentation Mastery Path. The purpose of this speech is for him to receive evaluation and then use that feedback to deliver the speech applying the evaluation. Vinod is particularly conscious of the importance of connecting with his audience, and he has asked me to look out for whether his stories connect. Overall, I'll be evaluating Vinod for basic communication skills and what he wishes to improve on. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster, and all the best, Vinod.
Thank you, Rozy. All the way from Dubai, Vinod Panicker will be speaking to us about the dust and the hole. The dust and the hole, Vinod Panicker.
Dad, I want to show you something. My 7-year-old son dragged me from our living room to our bedroom. And he jumped on the bed, and did a somersault. And when I saw that, I saw something which really blew my mind. I told him, "Can you do it one more time?" He said, "Yes." He went back and did the flip once again. Now, it was morning 9:30 a.m. The sun was shining bright and it was directly hitting our bed. So when he jumped and passed through it, there was a puff of dust that came from that bed. And I stood there watching it. I looked at the sun. I looked at the puff of dust. Then I thought to myself, I would never see this dust in a normal light. If the sun was not shining bright enough, I could not see that tiny minute particles. You might have seen that when you do that vacuum cleaner or someone does vacuum in your house, that dust keeps flying, and you think to yourself, where is this dust coming from? But being a Toastmaster, my mind went into a different direction. I had a speech, and the theme was leadership and emotional intelligence. So that was running behind my mind. So I looked at the puff of dust and the sun and thought, this is what self awareness is. When you become self aware, you shine the light inside by being still, and the puff of dust comes out. The thoughts, the feelings, you will observe them carefully. When was the last time you were still and observed the puff of dust that came out? The anxiety, the stress, the fears, all those things. Try it today. But from my personal experience, what I have learned to be an emotional intelligent person, there are three things that we need to observe: thoughts, feelings, and our spoken words. And if we are able to observe the thoughts, and if we are able to regulate our feeling, first understand and control our words, we would come across someone who is emotionally intelligent. And I'm going to ask you something challenging to do today. I'm going to give you 5 stages of life, something that I learned from an author later in the speech. But the first thing that I would like to share is the power of thought. Now, all of us know that we have some 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day, 80% of them are repeated. How powerful are thoughts? There are so many books written on thoughts. Which was that one book or which was that one incident in your life that taught you how much important your thought is? Put it in the chat. The day you realize that thoughts actually can create reality. Whatever it is, keep it in your mind now or type it in the chat. But I will share my story of when I realized the power of thought. It was when I read a book called Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. A beautiful story about a boy who lives in a neighborhood where he's attending a college and also lives as a paying guest. Opposite to his house, from his window, he can daily see a person living opposite to his house. It's a landlady who nobody in the village loves. Everybody in the village hates this lady. The simple reason she lends money to people and takes a lot of commission from them, whatever you tell, like what is, extra money. And everybody curses this woman because she charges too much to everyone. Wherever you go in the village, everybody talks ill about this lady. Now, this boy, whenever he opens the window, sees somebody crying in front of the lady's house. And he thinks, why is this lady alive? Why is she like still not gone? She's 80 plus, she's torturing everyone. And he keeps thinking for months. But one day, he had a need for money. He goes to that lady and asks her for the money. The lady refuses and she turns. In his mind, he wanted that money so bad that he took a flower vase and hits on the lady's head and she dies. Now, the question is, did he kill the lady that day or did he kill the lady when he thought the lady should be killed? That question completely changed my perspective of every thought that came to my mind. And from that day, I guard myself that I should not have a negative thought about anything or anyone. So it has helped me personally a lot. Now, I will leave you with this challenge about trying to understand where are you in your life stage. Okay, with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your spoken words. I heard this poem from, it's a short autobiography, the shortest I think in the world, where a lady describes her life in 5 chapters. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fell in. I felt lost. I blamed the world. Chapter 2. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend not to see, but still I fell into that. Again, I blamed the world. Chapter 3 of life. I walked down the street. There is a sidewalk. I saw the hole, but still fell into it because now it's a habit. But now I take the responsibility and don't blame the world and I get out. Chapter 4. I walk down the street, see the side hole, walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down the street and I take another route. I ask all of you, which street are you on? Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Which street are you on? Thank you for your presentation, Vinod. We now move swiftly into our second presentation today, which will be done by Hannah. Hannah says that if you believe in yourself, then anything is possible. I now invite her evaluator to tell us what Hannah will be doing today. Nelly?
Thank you very much, Shanicia. Hannah today is going to speak on her pathway, dynamic leadership. She's reflecting on this pathway. It's a level 5 speech. The purpose of this speech is for Hannah to reflect on her growth during completion of the entire dynamic pathway. The purpose of this speech is for Hannah to share some aspect of her growth during completion on the pathway. Hannah is completing the last speech in her current path, and she may speak on the journey she has completed. The speech may be persuasive, humorous, informational, or crafted in a style that appeals to her and supports the speech content. Back to you, Shanicia.
Thank you for that, Nelly. All the way from Namibia, Hannah will be giving an ode to Jessica. Hannah, an ode to Jessica. Over to you.
A leader is a lighthouse, not a lifeboat. Leaders don't rescue you. They show you the way through the storm so you can rescue yourself. Words by Simon Sinek. I'm Toastmaster. Beginning my journey with the dynamic leadership path at Toastmasters opened a profoundly transformative experience that has significantly impacted me. It allowed me to uncover my true self and realize my full potential. It encouraged me to acknowledge my challenges, celebrate my growth, strive for higher goals, exert more effort, and have a greater faith in myself. With every level in this journey, I have come to trust in the limitless leader I will become. But let me rewind to my earlier years. When spoken to, I reacted spontaneously, reflexively. My mentor and my dear friend Jessica also noticed that I had grown excessively conditioned. I was a follower, not a leader. She became my beacon, my lighthouse. She helped me navigate the storm so I could find myself and save myself. A reinterpretation by Simon Siminik. She invited me to join Toastmasters and encouraged me to pursue the path of dynamic leadership. Her guidance, her vision gave me the direction and purpose, transforming me in a follower to be a leader. Jessica and Toastmasters encouraged me to establish loftier goals, motivating me to become a confident and impactful leader and communicator. In level 1, I introduced myself using an icebreaker titled, "That's Me." The incredible supportive feedback inspired me to embark on my next project, writing a speech with a purpose and particularly designed to address my need for self-validation. And before I realized it, I reached level 2. And here I faced another challenge: introduction to mentoring, a project in the electives. But thanks again to my steadfast mentor, Jessica, I realized that I must not succumb to fear, forget everything and run. Rather, I should embrace the other side of fear, face everything and rise. This realization empowered me. Therefore, my title, Let's Do It. Our mentee-mentor relationship deepened as a result. We have agreed to form a partnership to mentor aspiring Toastmasters. Her encouragement helped me realize that challenges are designed to shape us and promote growth. Fear has become my ally, fueling my journey through the storm. Fellow Toastmasters, believe in yourself, face the challenges head on, trust your mentors, and stand firm when fear tells you otherwise. Embrace it, elevate yourself, speak confidently, shine with brilliance. In level 3, I started speaking more freely and spontaneously, even when it meant revealing my moments of vulnerability. As I prepared for my speech in the project Connect with Storytelling, I reflected on a personal mistake. It continues to amuse me, and I still shake my head. Unknowingly bringing Granny Smith apple into New Zealand without declaring it at customs. That simple oversight cost me 400 New Zealand dollars, a fine that took a real bite out of my holiday budget. I shall say that apple went sour faster than my budget went sour faster than that apple. However, that speech perfectly suited the upcoming speech contest, ultimately securing my first place victory. Taking part in level 3 with a mandatory project called Negotiating the Best Outcome helped me understand that purchasing property goes beyond a mere transaction. It is a genuine test of courage and resilience. To buy or not to buy, that was the question. It sharpened my negotiation skills, inspiring me to approach each challenge with strategy, confidence, and adaptability. Desire to obtain optimal outcome drove me to apply my negotiating skills in innovative ways, demonstrating that I truly possess them already. Serving as a Toastmaster of the day for managing online meetings, a level 4 elective, was an exhilarating experience for me. It challenged me to step out of my comfort zone and sparked my personal growth. These meetings demand an intense focus, flexibility, and a strong connection with the audience, and in particular, the team behind the scenes, as Shanicia mentioned it. These skills and confidence I gained earlier evolved into practical tools I could utilize as the Toastmaster of the day. Every lesson, every project, every minor success has prepared me for this moment. Conducting an online meeting demonstrated my development. It truly challenged my knowledge, enabling me to value the result. This path has given me all it has involved, significant learning and personal growth. In conclusion, reflecting on this remarkable dynamic leadership path, level 5 was a pivotal milestone in my personal growth. I pushed my limits to the final project, delivering a 20 to 22-minute keynote. Beyond mere speaking, it became a genuine call to action. In discussing the pressing issue of climate change, I infused each word with my passion for creating change and significantly impacting the world. Ladies and gentlemen, when I initially became a member of Toastmasters, I was searching for something meaningful. I experienced excitement, nervousness, and an uncertainty regarding my ability to shine or to fill my expectations. Yet, with every project in this path, I uncovered more of my authentic self. I became conscious of my abilities and celebrated each achievement in my leadership and as a speaker. This journey's impact on me was personal transformation from a follower into a self-directed leader. I have found my true self. And thanks to Jessica, my lighthouse, she showed me the way through the storm. Don't forget, Nick Forrest said, I am a work in progress, and I hope I will never be complete. That is my fuel. That fires me to become unstoppable. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Hannah, for that presentation and for taking us on that journey as you reflected on your pathway. We move swiftly on to our third speaker, Paramjit Singh. I now invite his evaluator to tell us what Paramjit will be doing today.
Thank you, Shanicia. This is my pleasure to evaluate Paramjit Singh today. His Pathway is dedicated presentation mastery with this project researching and presenting. The objective is to research and present an unfamiliar topic, organize the speech clearly to maximize audience understanding, craft clear and engaging transitions between main sections of your speech. Use and cite sources to support speech content and make source list available. Back to you, Nziga.
Thank you, Karin. Paramjit believes that the best place to find a helping hand is at the end of your own arm. All the way from Dubai, he will be presenting his speech entitled Who Forgot to Die? Who Forget to Die? Paramjit Singh.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to share that last village school where I studied, it was sharing a wall with a cremation ground. And the rule was very simple. Somebody died, you have a holiday. So as a students, we are always counting how many people are there, old people in the village, and our prospective holidays. Of course, later I realized that I had to wait for a long time for a holiday if I was born in a blue zone or the old people were born in blue zones. Blue zones where people forget to die. Yes, they are the places, magnet places in the world where people forget to die. This is identified by Dan Butner, and he has interviewed a lot of people and studied the lifestyle of these people and found that there are the people who live past 100 with energy and joy, even up to the most of the old age. So there are the 5 places in the world. Of course, Loma Linda, California, Nicoya, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Okinawa. So what is the secret? Dan Butner narrowed down it to 9 principles which were affecting their longevity, and this it's called Power 9. Let me share few of 9 of them so that you can be benefited out of it. First of all, people in blue zones don't have gym classes, they don't go to Zumba, they don't have a gym trainer who shout at them, but they move naturally. They live a normal now life. They do gardening, they do hold household chores, they do without any mechanized tools. One of the Sardinian told Dan that my workout is to break down the firewood and fighting with my husband. Number 2, Ikigai. Okinawans get up early in the morning with a sense of purpose of a life. And the Koreans call it plan de vida, why I wake up in the morning. Of course, I wake up for tea and biryani, that is a separate thing. Of course, if you are, this is purpose of life adds 7 years of longevity, extra longevity to their lives. And the other thing, how they deal with the stress. Okinawans, they spend some time in the afternoon remembering their ancestors. And Nicoyans come onto the streets by 5, and Sardinians take rest in the evening, take a break and take the rest. And while we fight to fight our stress with social media and honking horns. The 4th one, Hara Hachibu. Now, Okinawan says, and they say that eat up to 80% full, not eat up to your shirt buttons declare freedom. This is the difference, 20% of difference between the light or becoming a human being back. Most of the Blue Zones people eat plant-based food. Of course, they along with the some staples like wheat germ, maize, or sweet potatoes. And they most of the time have only fish at once in a week, but basically live on plant-based diet. And that is why they are very healthy. Now, grapes of wine. Yeah, they drink. They drink. Adventists in Loma Linda don't drink. Apart from them, everybody drink once, 1 or 2 glasses a day, not like keeping the 7 days off and then 14 glasses in a one day and saying, oh my, if you are keeping your drinks for 7 days, you are not, it's not a bad idea to be in the Blue Zones. Belong. Most of the Blue Zones people are faith-based communities. And this is one of the biggest secrets from the Blue Zones, that attending, research has said that attending 4 times a month any spiritual congregation add to 4 to 14 years of your life. Then they are family. They family first. They all live together. Most of the people in these Blue Zones, they live with the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. The best thing is they got a very good emotional support, as well as, of course, the privacy is nothing over there. Everybody is joined together to live together. Even the person who has borrowed money from you and not returning to you. And the other thing is that they have a wonderful upbringings. They live with more people who are mostly positive people. They are either chosen or are born in communities where they live with the positive people, and they move. In Okinawa, there's a group of 5 friends, Japanese friends, who live together for whole of their life. These are the 9 concepts, 9 principles on which their longevity is increased. Now, is it possible to do this, replicate in the normal life where we are living now in a very fast-paced life? Yes. In US, from 2009, 48 communities have adopted this system, where they are working on a circle called life circle, where 95% of the things which are required are within the walking distance, and you walk normally. And that result is more happiness. And more of the people over there are living in a way that they don't go on bikes, they don't go on cycles, they are walking and doing their normal way, the way it is being done in the Blue Zones. So if you want to be living a happy, healthy, long life, just go to the website, find 9 out of 9, which one is the best one for you to be used, start working on this, cut your ikagai and live like centenarians, and maybe you are the one person who forget to die. Over to you.
Thank you for that presentation, Paramjit Singh. We move swiftly into our 4th presentation today. But before I do, I would like to invite Holmes to share our guest book in the chat, and to invite our guest present to please sign up using the link. We would love to hear from you later on how you thought our meeting went, and of course, where you're joining us from. Holmes? There it is. I encourage you to sign up as quick as possible. Our 4th speaker for today is Renan. Renan, His evaluator today is Renan. I now invite him to tell us what Renan will be doing today.
Thank you so much. Today, Renan delivers speech from Effective Coaching, Understanding Your Leadership Style. The purpose of the project for the speaker is to identify his leadership style and also discuss the leadership style in general. All the best, Renan. Back to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you for that. Renan, all the way from the Philippines, will be presenting his speech entitled, Your Style, Your Strength. Your Style, Your Strength. Over to you, Renan.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Let me take you to a situation that revealed my true leadership style in the most unexpected. As HR professional, it is usual receiving escalations, complaints, call-outs, and reports. I received one day a report from our company's clinic that an employee submitted a fake medical certificate to support the absence. Something felt off when I received the report because when I saw the medical certificate, there's something wrong. We investigated and found out that the certificate was purchased from social media, Facebook. No clinic, no doctor, just a Photoshop. Now, here's where leadership style comes into play. Some managers pushed for immediate termination, the managers of the employee. They said, this is deception. Policy is policy. While others said, let's give another chance. This person has a good record. And me, as an HR, I found myself in the middle. I did not rush to judge the person. I asked, what led to this decision? What pressure was this employee under? How clear are our policies? That's when it hit me. The natural leadership style is coaching oriented. No soft, not passive, but reflective, fair, and focused on learning. In the end, we let the facts speak. The termination was just, but the process was humane. We documented well, we explained clearly, and we then reminded employees during the town hall when we had why honesty matters, even when it's hard. This experience reminded me in human resources, leadership is not about authority. It's about alignment between people, values, and outcomes. There are so many leadership styles, like directive leaders who act quickly and decisively. For example, think of military generals or operations chiefs. We also have visionary leaders who inspire with big ideas, like richest people like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. Then we also have democratic leaders who seek input before decisions. Collaborators at heart. They are collaborators at heart. We also have servant leaders prioritize the growth of others, like Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela. And then there are also coaching leaders, those who guide, ask questions, and help people find their own answers. None of these styles is better than the other, but understanding your dominant style gives you clarity and confidence. How this made clearer if you're going to apply in Toastmasters. When I am not a Toastmaster yet, before I thought leadership was something you prove through performance. But now, when I'm already a member of Toastmasters or I'm in Toastmasters organization now at that leadership speak, I realize leadership is practice in moments. Moments like giving a thoughtful evaluation that encourages, not embarrasses. Hosting a meeting where every member feels included. Then you offering help to a nervous guest before they even ask, and then later on encourage them to become member and introduce or enchant them for the benefit of joining Toastmasters. Toastmasters give a safe space to observe myself in action. One of my experience when I became a TMOD, I cared less about being perfect and more about making everyone feel at ease. When I delivered my first speech, the icebreaker, I saw that storytelling, not instruction, was my strength, and I can easily memorize a speech by using storytelling, not word by word. When I became a first time evaluator or speech evaluator, I realized how naturally I frame feedback in terms of growth. Another sign of a coach leader. And the best part, this self-awareness in Toastmasters helped me become a better HR professional at work. At work, I used to sit in meetings with senior leaders, fast talkers, they're fast talkers, quick thinkers, very task focused. At first, when I first joined them in a meeting, I felt intimidated. I wondered, I told to myself, do I need to be more aggressive to be heard? But then I thought, what if I could lead on my own? I began asking better questions. Then I focused on listening and summarizing. I offered perspectives grounded in empathy and evidence. And slowly, as our regular meeting goes by, leaders leaned in. I was not the loudest voice in the room oftentimes, but I became one of the trusted. Because if you are part of the HR of your HR, you need to be a trusted advisor. You have to build that trust with your stakeholders. I believe that's the power of leading from your true style. Understanding your leadership style is not about putting yourself in a box. It's about leading with purpose, not just reaction. So, whether you are managing people in HR, mentoring a Toastmaster, or simply leading your own life, remember, reflect on respond, how you naturally respond. Reflect on it. Ask how your style impacts others. And choose every day to live in a way that is honest, humane, and aligned with who you are. Because the best part of being a leaders are not just followed. They are remembered for how they made others feel, grow, and believe in themselves. That's all. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you for that presentation, Renan. And we now move to our fifth prepared speaker for today. Our speaker is Arouna Sao, and I invite his evaluator, Nicole, to share what Arouna will be doing today.
Greeting everyone. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Shanicia. I'm pleased to evaluate Arouna Saw. Arouna is delivering a speech from the Dynamic Leadership Path Level 2 Project 1, Understanding Your Leadership Style. The purpose of this project is for Arouna to identify his primary leadership style or styles. And the purpose of the speech is to share some aspect of his primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. I'm looking forward to Arouna's delivery. He has asked me to focus on the use of his vocal variety. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Arouna believes that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. A quote by John Maxwell. All the way from Senegal, Arouna will be telling us about the power of service. The power of service, Arouna Sao.
My journey of understanding my leadership style started 20 years ago when I wondered myself, Arouna, are you a leader? In that period, I found the answer in the book, The Leader in You by Dale Carnegie. What I learned from this book is everyone is a leader, and you can discover your leadership style in a simple way in 3 steps. First of all, write the name of the first 5 public persons who come to mind when you think about the world's great leaders. As you look at the name you have selected, what qualities they do seem to have in common? Secondly, do the same in the person in your own words. It could be in your personal or professional life. And finally, identify the common leadership qualities found in the list. With information in mind, focus on the quality that you yourself share with the person in your list. Fellow Toastmaster, dear guest, when we are talking about leadership, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and Nelson Mandela are recognized as most of the world's great leaders. So what is so special about these 3 leaders? What I learned is that All these three leaders serve the community. They had a vision, improving the living condition of the people, the community, the nation. They was committed to achieve that vision. And lastly, they left legacy. As Simon Sinek said, leadership is not about being in charge. It's all about taking care of those in your charge. When it comes to Toastmaster International has 4 core values: service to the member, integrity, respect to individual first, integrity, service to members, and dedicating to excellence. All these 4 qualities are about people-focused leadership. Toastmasters become leaders by the quality of the service at club level first, area level, division level, district level, and so on. And what I noticed from distinguished Toastmasters is that they are always available to help members grow. That is the case of our dedicated president, Bram Memonu. He is always conscious about leadership members' growth. Now, what's about my leadership skills, my leadership style? What I learned from Toastmasters International is that we have 8 leadership styles: bureaucratic, authoritative, innovative, presetting, democratic, initiative, coaching, and altruistic. What I learned from the result of the test I did for this project is that I am affiliative and altruistic leaders. Do you know what? I rely on teamwork and harmony. I used to create a better relationship with my team and to avoid conflict as much as possible, which is one of a great quality of affiliative leaders. And I also use to serve people at a better manner. And I use to help my team to achieve their goal, which is also one of the main quality of altruistic leaders. I strongly believe that all in leadership is about people, is about service. And we are growing when we are serving people. And it's not about a one-way relation, it's about two-way relationship. And we notice that all the great leaders, first is service, is based the leadership on the service of others. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Back to you, dear Toastmaster Obede.
Thank you for your presentation, Arouna. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. At this point, I now invite our timer to post the timings for our speakers in the chat. While that is being done, I invite our Zoom master to please launch the polls for our best effort speaker. Thank you, Zoom Master. I encourage everyone to please submit your polls quickly. Thank you, timer. At this point, we move on to the evaluation segment of our meeting. As we often say, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And to lead us in this segment is our general evaluator. She is none other than Yusli Joseph, and she believes that emotional intelligence is the key for true leadership. All the way from Canada, Yusli will give her general evaluation report along with her team. Yusli, I now relinquish the virtual lectern to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Greeting, colleague Toastmasters and guests, and welcome to the second part of the meeting, the evaluation session. The first one that I will call in my team to present an evaluation today is Toastmaster Angela Brown to evaluate the toast presented by Toastmaster Rozy Rana. For Angela, leading with emotional intelligence is important because it helped her become more effective, respected, and compassionate leader. Toastmaster Brown, the lead is yours for your evaluation.
Thank you, Yusli. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome, especially Rozy. I've really enjoyed your toast. I thought that you took control of the stage right away. You stood up. You could say that you were owning the stage. You had good eye contact with the audience, and your body language and vocal variety was right on par. Your toast was short and sweet. The topic is relevant. Was relevant to the theme. It was concise throughout. You said you told the audience to unmute themselves and to raise their glass for the toast, and the toast at the end was not too long. I found it very hard to find anything to improve. If I wanted to do a perfect toast, I think that I would consider a perfect toast. The only thing I want to add is that you asked questions in your speech, your toast, but maybe ask a question right at the very beginning to engage the audience right away. And your 3 minutes and 15 seconds, which was not bad. It was a little bit over, but not by too much. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela Brown, for this evaluation. And you evaluated Toastmaster Rana on all the points regarding the toast. My encouragement for you is that the next time as well, when you are doing an evaluation as evaluator, it's a presentation as well. The evaluation is a presentation. You can try to keep your head more up than stay in your notes. Try to look at the screen or directly to the camera so that you can have more connection with the audience. And the other aspect, as you could encourage Toastmaster Rana to work on the body language, because at some time she was good on the camera, but the hand gestures at some point they were inappropriated. You could encourage her on that so that next time she can improve this aspect of presentation. Other than that, thank you, Toastmaster Angela. Now we are moving on. I will call our conscious observer and listeners for today to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day. It's none of distinguished Toastmaster Gada Felix. For her, emotional intelligence is important because we live in a diverse world, and being emotionally intelligent is calling into our humanity. DTM Felix, the lead is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Guest, and especially our Toastmaster of the day, Shanicia. You excelled at delivering a well-organized meeting. You disseminated information to attendees at the meeting. You made sure that you started right away with the theme of the meeting so that we all knew what we were to expect. You also introduced each speaker and presenter and role players. You used excellent facilitation and public speaking skills. Now, here are my observations and what you may want to work on. The theme is emotional intelligence. And to some speakers, you did connect. And to others, you simply said, thank you for that presentation. My recommendation is that you mirror back something from their speech to them. That way, we know that you were paying attention. The other subject or the other thing that I would like you to focus on is the introduction. I feel like it is a time for voice modulation. As an example, please help me welcome the name of the speaker, the title, and the name of the speaker. Voice modulations, because at that point, the focus is on the speaker. Then my suggestion to this is to watch the awards or wherever they present online and see how they do that. But what I loved the most in what you've done today, you had a special mention to homes. And to me, that was emotional intelligence. Well done. So, in summary, you have delivered a very well-organized meeting. You took care of everyone who was there. Work on your introduction of the speakers and also on your voice modulation. What I love the best is the emotional intelligence demonstrated, especially to homes. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Felix. Thank you for this evaluation. You have raised a lot of points regarding the role played by Toastmaster Bellamy today. The only aspect that I was expecting you to mention was that she has to be also conscious about all the details, because when she gave the lectern to someone else, her microphone was still open and we could hear all the voices in her all the noises of her environment. Next time, Toastmaster Bellamy, you may be more conscious about that as well as a Toastmaster of the day. Other than that, thank you, DTM Felix. Now I will call our next evaluator, Toastmaster Alfin Abor, to evaluate the speech presented by Toastmaster Sabnam Saiyed. For Toastmaster Alfin, life is beyond numbers. It is about human. Life is beyond rules. It's about understanding. Emotional intelligence is the bridge to it. Toastmaster Alfin, the lead is yours for your evaluation.
Thank you so much, GE. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, good evening. And thank you so much for our keynote speaker today, Toastmaster Sabnam, who brings my favorite topic, so far, which is EI, emotional intelligence. I would like to share things that I like from the speaker, Master Sabnam, and what she needs to consider to improve her speech. The first one is she introduced the topic very well in the beginning. When she mentioned, I want you to pay attention. Wow, that's very easy for me to follow the speech after that, because what I know, the structure of the speech will be talking about respond and react. And she evolves the speech around that aspects. Well done. And the second one is the volume of her speech. The volume is just clear, so I can get the clarity of her speech and I can enjoy the keynote speech from her. Now, what I can suggest to the speaker to improve her speech. The first one is to make a connection. I believe in any kind of keynote speech, it is a missed opportunity if you don't make connection to our audience. As simply as asking questions or ask people to type in the chat box, it can make people to connect to us before we talk. So the key message is don't start to talk before you make connection, because your speech is very important. So it will be a missed opportunity if we don't connect to our audience before we speak. The second one is to smile more. I noticed in most of the speech, Sabnam looks very serious. There's a very few smile on your speech. Well, smile, laugh will bring positive energy to your audience so they can also relax. And the challenge you is to put more story on your speech when explaining your points, rather than explaining what is the definition of one thing. Explain with your story, how you handle emotional intelligence, how you do journaling, share your personal story, so it can be easier for people to follow your speech. Overall, thank you so much for the most favorite topic that I like so far. Nice introduction at the beginning. Well done on the volume, and need to improve more on making connection with your audience. More smile and put more story to explain your main points. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvin. Thank you for this evaluation. You have pointed out some important point during the presentation of Toastmaster Saiyed today. Thank you for that. And one point I would like to raise for the audience as well about this presentation is regarding the slides and the position that you were on the screen, because at some point, or on my screen at least, your presence was we could, for some point on the slide, we could not see that because of your pictures, because of the way it was your word on the slide. Sorry, I didn't catch the English word for that. But you can work on the slide to make them more visible for the audience, even if you are on the screen, so that we could still see all the things that you had on those slides. Other than that, thank you, Toastmaster Alvin, for this evaluation, and thank you, Toastmaster Saiyed, for this impactful speech. Now I will call our next evaluator, Toastmaster Rana, the coffee lady, to come and to evaluate the speech presented by Toastmaster Vinod Panicker.
Thank you, Madam
Rana, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. What a compelling and thought-provoking speech today by Vinod. Vinod, today you gifted us with two rich narratives, each distinct, yet both connected with a strong message. The first story, and I think this is a gift which you have and is your strong suit, is how you bring out vivid imagery in your speech. As you talk about your son, 7-year-old, dragging you, we can see it. You talk about how he goes into the room, somersaults, how the dust can be seen through the sunshine. We could see it, and often when you can see things, it anchors it much stronger in one's head than any words could. So it remains with us, and that's very, very powerful. And you had a message which you weaved in with the theme today, which was on emotional intelligence, reminding us how important it is to be aware of what's happening around us. The second narrative about the whole, here it was more narrative where you talk about the 5 chapters and ultimately leading us to the strong message that leaders, you can't keep blaming people, you need to be intentional, you need to take responsibility. A very powerful, inspiring message through those 5 chapters. So very well done. Both were shared clearly, audibly, great Zoom presence. You were centered on the screen. We could follow you, you engaged us, you asked us some questions, rhetoric questions, and we were with you throughout. You transported us into the scene. So what suggestions do I have, Vinod, for you're such a powerful storyteller, you give us strong messages, your speeches always leave us inspired. First, while I liked that you related it to the theme, the first story of the dust, for me, there was a little bit of a disconnect because we were talking about your son and your message was, be aware of the surroundings and the dust. For me, that's intellectual connection. And for me, the emotional connection, I'm thinking of this 7-year-old who's seeking validation, who's seeking praise. I would have liked you to bring him, recognize him, praise him. So somehow that emotional intelligence message didn't come out as strong, and I would have liked that son to be acknowledged there. The second was you invited us to participate in the chat, but you lost the opportunity because you didn't take that space and read anything. So if you invite us, show us you care for what you are asking us to do. So I encourage you, either just tell us to reflect, or if you talk about the chat, then read 1 or 2 messages at least. And thirdly was possibly time management. You rushed at the end, and because you probably saw the red flag as it just has come, I would have liked you to tie the 2 stories in at the end. But all in all, fantastic storytelling skills, clear message, very well delivered. Tighten the structure a bit, bring in emotional, weave in the theme a little stronger to elevate it. Well done, Vinod. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rosiana, for this evaluation. Nothing to add because you have raised all the points that I had in my evaluation as well. You are presenting an encouraging evaluation and with empathy. Now, moving on to the next evaluator, I will call Toastmaster Nelly to present the evaluation of the speech presented by Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. Toastmaster Nelly Ayodo, the lead is yours.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Yusli, and especially Hannah. I liked 3 things about your speech. Reflect on your path. You told us how you made progress. You spoke about skills learned and developed and how you celebrated, and you mentioned celebrating your achievements. You excelled at communicating your message with clarity, narrating step by step the progress in completing your dynamic leadership pathway. You explained every level and the transformation you achieved with the help of your mentor, Jessica. You started as a follower and transgressed into a dynamic leader. You became a superb negotiator, acquiring skills to negotiate the best outcome. You morphed into your authentic self and celebrated every achievement. You spoke with a lot of passion and enthusiasm, especially when you consciously mentioned Jessica as a lighthouse in your journey of completing this pathway. You had very good state present, and you moved close to the screen when you were emphasizing a point, and it came out very clearly how you felt about this pathway. Challenge yourself to tell us about the leadership roles that you have done and how you're using dynamic leadership within these leadership roles. Challenge yourself also to tie in the theme, today's theme, into your speech. Also, you mentioned celebrating at every level. How did you celebrate? That didn't come out very clearly. Did you pop champagne? Did your club do a poster about you and celebrate it? In summation, I liked how you narrated your story with a lot of passion. And you mentioned the skills that you have acquired, negotiation skills, and how you transformed from a follower to a leader, leading from the front. I challenge you to tell us how you use these skills in roles that you have taken up in Toastmasters, and also tell us how you celebrated your journey. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator Usli.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayodo, for this detailed evaluation. Thank you for that. You have raised several important points regarding the presentation of Toastmaster Hannah Schmidt. My word of encouragement for you for the next time is do not forget us, Toastmaster Ayodo. We are here with you in the audience. You spend most of the time like here. So take some time to look at this, to look at the camera. We are here. Show us that you are talking to us, because the evaluation is not only for distinguished Toastmaster Schmidt, but it's for all the audience. Other than that, thank you. And now I am moving on to the next evaluator. I will call Toastmaster Karine Baptiste, the power in silent in this club at Leadership Speak, to come and evaluate the speech presented by Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. Toastmaster Baptiste, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Usli. Dear member, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. This is my pleasure to evaluate Paramjit. Congratulations for your presentation about Blue Zone. Finally, this is a great topic I've never known, and it's also a way to better know a new study about this theme. I really appreciate your presentation in terms of clarity, precision, and also you have used different images to captivate our audience. Moreover, your speech title is very surprising. Who forget to die? When I saw this speech title, I'm asking, what does it talk about it? And finally, you have replied perfectly with this theme. Who wants to live longer and better? Another aspect, I really appreciate your voice, because your strong voice is very important to engage your audience. And also you have used some pauses in order to be understood by your audience. In terms of recommendations, I suggest you for the next time when you use a presentation, especially PowerPoint, you can use the option in Zoom to put inside the presenter as the similar presenter as Sabnam. You can more connect with your audience and create a link with the public, because only public sees your presentation instead of you, and it is better. Second aspect, at the beginning, you should have used a question to interact with your audience. For example, to create a surprise, you can ask, my aunt lives more than 100 years. Do you know this recipe? I would like to share some tips. That's why you can create an attention with your audience and also an impact to share some tips. Another aspect, the timing. You have delivered your speech in 7 minutes 56, and make sure for the next time to respect and manage your time. And also in terms of recommendation for the call to action, you can use a question to attract your audience, because health and to have a better life is very important, especially in an Occidental society. And you can show and express your personal experience, because I know this is very important to you, and you can give a question if you want to be with me, because I don't know your age, but you can show your recipe. To sum up, this is a great and interesting topic, and also you have used all ingredients to interact your audience with your voice, presentation. For the next time, make sure you respect the time, and also to create more connection with your audience. Back to you, Madame General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Baptiste, for this evaluation. And it's great and impactful that you stood up to present your evaluation. It shows respect and appreciation to the audience when you are giving your evaluation. Thank you for that. The aspect that I would like you to look for the next time when you stand, make sure that the camera is okay, because part of your head cut during all the presentation. Please make sure that you look for that as well. And the other aspect, you could have encouraged Toastmaster Singh to work on the flow, because during the evaluation, he had several hesitation. I don't know why today he had so much hesitations. So you could encourage him to work on the flow for the next time. He still have his groove, the humor, and so on, but he had some hesitation today. Moving on to the next evaluator, I will call Toastmaster Renan Cantigos to come and present the evaluation of the speech presented by Toastmaster Renan at Ercilla. Toastmaster Renan, the lead is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Whitley. So at the end of the day, we all want to be a good leader. Am I right? Everyone want to be good leaders. But trust me, that is not an easy task. A lot of path you want to go ahead. Exactly. I want to same thing communicate with our speaker, Renan. You are such a powerful, eloquent speaker. You have in-depth knowledge about the topic, as you are already in the HR role. So in HR role, you should manage your people, conflict, how you avoid the conflict among the members, that is important. And if escalation happen, how you have to manage it. A lot of roles are there. Leadership role is important to manage your role as you are a part of HR roles. You talk about many leadership style. You discuss about starting from the direct leadership style, visionary leadership style. You mention about the Steve Jobs visionary leadership style, and also talk about some of the servant leadership style like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. But here is the pinpoint for you. I just want to challenge with you. As for the projects, we want to know your leadership style. What is your primary style? I think that is important. You should focus on what is your primary style and how you can find out. So I think your peer, from your organization, or even your friends also. Try to focus on reflect on your style. And second thing, try to gather feedback. Ask some of the questions so that you can easily know what is your primary core strength as a leader and how you can implement it in your personal life and professional life. That's the purpose of your projects. If you want to grow your leader, then you should know what is your basic leadership style and how you execute it in your company, in your domain, or even personal life. So focus on that. So overall, if I discuss about your projects, that's yes, you are a good storyteller. Even I can see that you have good knowledge, in-depth knowledge about the subject, but I just want to be your leadership in the next level. Just try to find out more focus on your leadership style, your strengths in leadership style, and what are the challenges area you have. Second, energy level. How do you try to connect with the audience? You need energy. As a leader, if you motivate your audience, you need energy. Try to bring back your energy throughout your voice modulations. Throughout your presentation, your voice modulation is totally flat. Try to just like a same ups and down. That kind of energy level we try to bring as a leader. And third, not the least, I think as a leader, we have to manage our time effectively. That is a core, I think, one of the most interesting things. Yeah. So overall, it's a good presentation. You have good knowledge. You are an eloquent speaker, good eye contact. But thing is that you need more research on you understand your leadership style. Then you try to bring your energy level up. And third, not the least, you have to manage your time. And if you do that, I'm sure that very soon you're becoming one of the most even promos. I can see your the promotion in your next level also. Just try to implement that and see the difference within you. Back to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Minal, for this evaluation you have presented with a pleasant face. It's good to see that you are talking to the speaker like a friend giving advice to another friend. Thank you for this evaluation. And one thing that that you could add in this evaluation, when you were talking about the energy level, is as well for Toastmaster Renan, is facial expression. Because we are on Zoom, and this is the thing that will really keep people engaged, our facial expression. So next time, you could encourage the audience. You can look at that for the speaker as well. So when the facial expression is really a welcoming gestures. The next, we are moving to our last evaluator for today, not the least, Toastmaster Nicole White, to evaluate the speech presented by Toastmaster Arouna Sao. For Toastmaster White, emotional intelligence is a critical component of effective leadership. As leaders, we should be aware of its importance. Toastmaster White, the lead is yours.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. Moving on into the evaluation for Arouna. All right, Arouna. Is this spotlighted? Hold on. Your speech was informational. We heard a little about the leaders who lead with a service focus, and you expounded on leadership style that exists as per the questionnaire we are expected to complete for this project, which you did. Some areas you excelled at. You excelled at using quotes from credible leaders who led with service, such as Mahatma Gandhi, and it tied back to your speech title, The Power of Service. You did well with your pauses, and we could flow with the points you brought out as an example when you listed how the three leaders that you Gandhi and two others that lead, and you spoke about the three things you noticed or observed about them. You took your time, and we heard the serve, the vision, the legacy, and it was just clear cut. And the 5 ways we can discover our leadership style when you started out. So that's a good for you. You were able to tell us your 2 styles of leadership that you discovered, and you shared examples with us, right? Which for the one of them that stood out, the altruistic leadership style that you discovered, and you gave example and tied it back to the title of your speech, which is the overall idea of the power of service. So well done. Where I believe you can improve is working on the structure of your speech. So you started out with a very grabbing start. My journey of understanding my leadership style started 20 years ago, and you discovered it through reading a book, and the book is The Leader in You. As soon as I heard that, I would believe that you could have structure their speech more with surrounding aspect of what you discovered 20 years ago, and then tying it back to what you discover now as your leadership style and the examples that you had throughout your speech. So your structure, I think you could work on elevating your structure some more, and that body, and which ties back now easier for you to end with an impact to remind us of what you discovered and what your leadership style speaks to. Next, your vocal variety, which you asked me to focus on. You could work on your inflection, as you had key moments throughout your speech where you could have moved away from the monotonous speaking and just come with more dynamics and expressiveness. And your Zoom presence is last. Work on your audience connection, eye connection. Your eyes weren't looking directly into the camera. You didn't engage with the audience. So all in all, as well as I think you could have a better call to action. Overall, keep up the good work with honoring your pauses, and also bringing in credible sources in your speech, and work on the dynamics of your expressions of your voice modulation, your speech structure, and your eye contact and engagement with your audience. And all the best for your future speeches.
Thank you, Toastmaster White. Thank you for this evaluation. And nothing to add. You have raised all the points that I, as GE, as I saw during this evaluation as well. Congratulations for this detailed evaluation, Toastmaster White. Now I will ask the timer to please post the time report in the chat. And in the meantime, I will ask the Zoom master to please launch the poll for the best effort evaluator. I encourage you all to please vote for the best effort evaluator. Thank you, Madam Timer, and thank you, Madam Zoom Master. Now I will call our Grammarian of the day to come and take the lead to present the Grammarian report. Toastmaster Nokawen Kosi.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Greetings to fellow Toastmasters and a special greeting to the guests again. Madam General Evaluator, in terms of the use of the word of the day, I only picked 3 speakers who used it, and the person who used it the most was the Toastmaster of the day. And the English language has been used effectively and correct today in a way that I haven't picked any improper grammatical use throughout the meeting. In terms of the codes, a lot of codes have been mentioned. They were interesting. I've learned a lot from them, but I've decided to pick only 3 that I will share with the audience. The first code is emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success. The second one, a leader is a lighthouse rather than a lifeboat. And the third one is, I am a work in progress and I may never be complete, but I am always becoming. A lot of words and sentences have been shared with us, but I've decided to pick 3 as well. The first one is, the heart of it all is emotional intelligence, to manage our emotions and connect with others. The second one is, where are you in your life? With your thoughts, with your feelings, and with your spoken words. The last one, leadership is exercised in moments. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian, and for this report. First of all, I would like to thank and congratulate all of you, especially my team members. Thank you for being part of my team to do the job of evaluating one another today. Thank you and congratulations for the job well done. And now my report as general evaluator. Congratulations to the Toastmasters of the day, all the role players today. As usual, we had a wonderful meeting. And at Leadership Speak, the meeting started at least 15 years before the day. So when you came today, you were all serious, you were engaged, prepared, and it shows that it's obvious that you put effort in the work. Congratulations for that. And for the Toastmaster of the day and the leadership speaker, you chose a wonderful theme for today's meeting, emotional intelligence. That is really important in today's words. Congratulations for that. And for all the speakers today, you were all encouraging, you were persuasive, and you all left us with some homework to do in order to become better self, to have better life, to live longer, to take action, to have great change in life. Congratulations to all the speakers and thank you for the messages that you brought to us today. For the greeter today, Toastmaster Memon, you did a wonderful job. You welcome everybody in the audience. You say their name. We talk about the weather. We talk about the country, where they are. You mentioned that. And thank you for that. We had a great moment during the greeting session. It was animated. You make connection between people, between one another, who are from the Caribbean, who are from the Asia, who are from Canada, and so on. That was wonderful to connect people to one another and encourage them to talk to one another. Thank you for that and congratulations. I would like to give a special thank to Toastmaster Holmes because he shared the agenda on the meeting on the chat throughout the meeting and greet the guests, encourage everybody. He was in the chat group on WhatsApp and he took over when Toastmaster Jase had some issues with the network. Congratulations, and we appreciate the work, Toastmaster Holmes. Congratulations for that. The thing that I would like you to work on, dear leadership speak members, is your camera. Why you make the Zoom master so angry today by asking you from time to time to keep your camera open. Don't make Toastmaster Thomas sick, please. Especially when we have wall, it's important to keep our camera open. My personal story with that, the last time I was Toastmaster of the day, I did not feel really good. So I was sick. But for people who kept their camera open during that time, they encouraged me to really play my role and to do my best because when I saw your smile, when I saw your reaction, it kept me alive and it encouraged me at that time. So I encourage you to keep doing that for other people, especially for a Toastmaster of the day, for someone who's presenting a speech. It's important to see your face, to see your smile. Thank you for the smile, Toastmaster Felix, to see your reaction on the screen. So every Saturday, try and try again and put more effort on that. Keep your camera open, especially when you have role. And thank you to our timer today. Thank you to our Zoom master for today's meeting. That's all for my report. Now I give back the lead to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Bellamy.
Thank you, General Evaluator and team, for leading us in that segment. As we say, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And the more feedback we receive, the more we are able to improve and stretch our boundaries in everything that we do. To our special guests still here with us, I want to invite you once again to please sign up our guest book. Very shortly, we will be giving you the opportunity to provide some feedback on how you thought our meeting went, and of course, let us know a little bit about yourself. At this point, I would like to invite Toastmaster Lydia, who will be sharing the thought of the day. She shared with us that her favorite quote is, "People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Sharing her thoughts with us all the way from Kenya. Lydia, the floor is yours.
Leading with emotional intelligence. It means listening not just to the words, but to the emotions, and listening to the unspoken, because the most effective leaders inspire trust, not through authority, but through empathy and understanding. As a HR practitioner, I once noted a staff member who was performing very well, was always up there. Then all of a sudden went down, and the manager was focusing on performance. So he was given unsatisfactory. That made the staff member go down. But when I requested the manager to use emotional intelligence, that is empathy and understanding, he realized there was a problem, which we solved. And now the staff member is again back as a high-performing staff member. In our meeting today, we've been encouraged to lead with emotional intelligence, which is the key to both professional life and also our personal life. In leadership speak, we lead not just with our minds, but also with our heart, and hence the connection. The beauty of emotional intelligence is that it can be developed, just like the manager who developed his. It is not something we are either born with or without. So let us listen to understand, not to reply. And we challenge ourselves to lead in a way that brings out the best in others, and not just the best results. We all can achieve more by being cautious and leading with emotional intelligence. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Lydia, for sharing your thoughts that perfectly encapsulates all that was said during our meeting and encouraging us once again to lead with emotional intelligence as we move forward. At this juncture, I now invite our Zoom master to please share the winners' certificates for our best effort speaker and then our best effort evaluator. The best effort speaker for our meeting today is presented to Hannah Schmidt. Can we give her a big round of applause?
There are two.
As well as Vinod Panicker. We have two winners today. Can you give them a huge round of applause for a job well done? Congratulations, Hannah and Vinod. And now for our best effort evaluator, taking the cherry is Rozy Rana. Can we give her a big round of applause as well? Congratulations, Rozy, for winning the best effort evaluator for our evening today. Congratulations to all our winners and a good job to all our speakers and evaluators. Throughout our meeting, we heard lots of golden nuggets on how we can lead with emotional intelligence as we move forward in all of our endeavors. As we leave here today, I want to encourage you to lead with awareness, to act with intention, and to make emotional intelligence the foundation. Because true leadership is not about being or having the loudest voice. Instead, it's about being the most thoughtful, the most connected, and the most intentional. At this point, I would like to invite our president, Bram, to chat with our guests who are still here with us.
Thank you. We have quite a number of guests who've signed the guest book, so that is a good sign, and they are not here, some of them. But we have a few guests here on our screen. I think they perhaps have even left those as well while I was looking. So, and we have some very regular guests like Marlene. So she's very regular. Oh, I see Ganad Mzee. Ganade Mzee, how are you?
I'm fine, sir, and good afternoon. I'm not sure if it's afternoon or evening. Oh, in Tanzania, it's evening already.
It is morning here in Canada.
Oh.
And
It's
how you
actually
been?
close to 7 p.m.
It is 11:47 a.m. here.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that amazing? And you've been here before, Ganade?
Yeah, I've been a regular guest in this forum, and I'm grateful to connect with all of you this evening.
And are you thinking of becoming a member at some point in time?
Yeah, I'm still reflecting on that, and when time comes, I think I should make the right decision, and I believe it's the right decision to join the club.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming, and please do complete the guest book for us if you haven't done it.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ganade.
Okay.
And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Sure. You're getting it right. No problem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this will need a big drum roll from you all because wait a second, we have some great news. To begin with, I would like to call Joyce Kibe, our brand new member who's just joined fresh. And it took me about a year to bring her on board. Joyce, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, Joyce, you're from Kenya. And why are we having so many Kenyans join Leadership Speak? Is it because I'm
Yes.
from Kenya? I don't know. Or because I speak Swahili?
I think, first of all, good evening from Kenya. I know it's morning in your end. As Mzee has said, it's headed to 7 p.m. here. So I'm delighted to be here today. And I think I've been attending this for the last 1 year. And I must say we have very high quality meetings here, especially the evaluation, the speakers, they speak very well, eloquently. So for me, that is what I am looking for, to grow even as a person. And more so to improve on my evaluation skills.
And now you send me some great news, which needs a drum roll. And what is that amazing great news, Joyce?
Oh, we have a new DTM in the house. I'm sure she hasn't told you yet.
She didn't
and
tell
I'm not
me.
even sure I was supposed
Thank you
to say it
too.
today. So we have a new DTM in our area. It's called D114, Nelly Ayodo. She's the newest.
Nelly!
Oh, wow.
And she didn't even tell us. Nelly,
Nelly, I'm
spotlight
sorry.
Nelly. Is Nelly here?
I'm so sorry, Nelly.
Amazing.
Nelly, are you here?
Nelly is here.
Can you spotlight Nelly? Why didn't you tell us? Now we have a spy, you know. So she told us, Nelly, congratulations on your DTM. Tell us a bit about your DTM.
Thank you. I received a call today and I was asked to go and pick my certification. And I got it this afternoon. So I posted it to the East African Forum. And that's how I think of Joyce Kibe and you. But I was going to tell Leadership Speak after this.
Well, you know, Nelly, since you're in the Legacy Leaders group, which is your primary club?
My primary club is
Who should know first? All right, I'll let you off the hook. I'll let you off the. Don't worry. So Nelly, congratulations, and everybody, please make sure that you send Nelly a personal message. We will, of course, post it in the members group, but a personal message to Nelly congratulating her. This is the highest award you can get. It's for service and leadership and how you can make the world much better through your communication. So Nelly, congratulations. And Joyce, any words for Nelly?
Nelly, what I can say, I know she's a very humble lady. I have not met her in person, but we have served in more than one club with her in our East Africa area. So congratulations, we are right behind you, and we are coming swiftly. And congratulations again. And thank you everyone for your overwhelming welcome messages. I feel at home already and looking forward to connecting with each one of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joyce, for bringing us this great news. Nelly, thank you for serving, and we look up to you now to sort of lead in certain areas in the club. Thank you for being here. Okay, and I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have completed everything that we need to today here. Just making a quick check on my screen in case I've missed anything. Not at all. So I will now pass this back on to our Toastmaster of the day, Shanicia.
Thank you, Bram, for leading that segment and interacting with our guests. It's truly a pleasure to serve as the Toastmaster of the day for this wonderful meeting. I would like to thank all of the role players who collaborated with me behind the scene to pull this all together. Without you, this would not have been possible. And to our guests, you are a gem. We look forward to welcoming you at our future meetings. With that and the power invested in me, I hereby adjourn our meeting today. Thank you again.
You have to ask to stop the video.
Okay.